Welcome to the Voice of the Victim YouTube channel. I'm Ryan, and this is my first time making a actual video for YouTube for the podcast. I've actually done a lot of reaction videos over on my music channel, Wave Potter, so I have a little experience making reaction videos. But there's something interesting going on right now with a group of people called Love Has Won. Recently, their leader passed away at they're guessing the end of March, and this week on the main feed podcast we're going to be doing a deep dive into what we know about this group. But this morning I was looking into it, doing research for the main feed episode, and I stumbled across their live stream, which they do every morning, 6 a.m. their time, and I tuned in just to learn as much as I can about this group, and I had some thoughts on it, so I'm going to react to maybe the last 15 minutes. Obviously, I'm not a qualified professional in any way. If you know our podcast that I do with my wife Rosie, we're not any kind of professionals. We just do our research and talk about it. So please, if you do enjoy this video, press that like button to help the YouTube algorithm. And also comment and let me know if these reaction videos are something you'd like to see more of. Rosie would also like to be part of these in the future. She can't today, but I wanted to give it a try. This is a test run to see how it goes. And if you don't know what our podcast is and you just stumbled across this on YouTube, thank you for checking it out. We do make a podcast every week, true crime podcast called Voice of the Victim, where we tell true crime stories and discuss different events share our thoughts. My wife Rosie has a past experience, or that was kind of the inspiration that led us to creating this podcast. So a lot of people seem to appreciate what we do, and so we keep doing it. And if you're one of those people, thank you so much for all your support. We wouldn't be able to keep going without you. Really appreciate that. And thank you to all of our patrons. You guys are all amazing. We appreciate you a lot. That said, let's just jump into this video and see where it goes. So just to preface this before I react to any of this, I just want to state right off the bat, I don't mean any disrespect to any of these people. It's a very complicated situation, and I don't think anyone should be coming on these live streams to show any kind of disrespect or hate or call these people stupid. In my opinion, they've been very manipulated by Amy Carlson, and I understand that they don't see it that way, and I don't blame them for that. The type of abuse that Amy put them through with sleep deprivation and any kind of roadblock that Amy seemed to run into, she had a justification for that ended up being more of a faith-strengthening thing for them. So I don't blame them at all for feeling like they have the truth and, that they are doing the right thing here. So please, if you can find it in your heart to not attack these people, because that's one thing I noticed earlier this morning is people coming on here just to say that they're stupid, and I don't think they are. They're just victims of this manipulation from their leader, which we'll go into more depth about that in our main feed episode this week. But with that said, hopefully that's enough of a preface to jump into this. All right?
Like, if you are physically here on Earth, if you are physically here right now, you have not made it to 5D. We haven't made it to 5D because the planet's not in 5D. And okay. You can't be ahead of your own fucking planet that you're on.
So 5D, this YouTube channel is called 5D, what is it? 5D Full Disclosure. So I'm guessing that that's kind of their afterlife. That's their goal. It's like the comet for Heaven's Gate. That's their end goal. And I believe here they're justifying the death of Amy because if you don't know, they referred to Amy as Mother God. Amy claimed to be the creator of the universe. They're saying basically Amy's reached her goal. She's gone to 5D, sounds like. And because the question is, how did Amy die? Because she claims that she has healed so many people, cured cancer, performed spiritual heart surgeries, and brain surgeries and all this stuff, basically saying she's a healer. And people ask, if she can heal, why did she get sick and die? So I think that they're justifying that by saying, well, she moved on to 5D. Another interesting thing is she also claims that she was currently living her 534th reincarnation, and that in the past she had been Marilyn Monroe, Joan of Arc, and Jesus. So that's kind of the wavelength they're on here. That's just to give you an idea of what they're talking about here with 5D.
It's just dumbness. Just such dumbness. Now, have people like ascended in the past? Kind of. You know, there's people who have gotten...
And again, this ascension, when the media questioned these people about it, they said, she didn't die, she just ascended. She's no longer with us right now. She's just out of communication, stuff like that. So
I was actually talking to Joe a bit yesterday. We were talking about like school and some different things, and I was telling her, and as we were talking about like jobs and all these things, and I was telling with her with school how like my major at college, I've said this many times on the stream, of how like I told my professor that was like my guidance counselor in school and college, was weird. And I told her, I was like, yeah, you know, I want to go into like natural medicine or nutrition. And she was like, I really haven't had a student want to do that in a long time, so I don't know what to tell you. And I was like, cool. You're supposed to be my guidance counselor. So, and then they told us that we couldn't get a job with our college degree, our bachelor's degree. And I was like, fuck this. I'm out. And then after that, last professor also told us that the only reason that she was a professor and successful was that she married rich. I was like, I think I'm out. Pretty sure I'm done with the system.
okay, so this is another interesting detail, is that they view the outside world, just society in general, as programming that tries to fit people into molds, and to an extent that's kind of what society does. But one thing I've noticed about this group is that they really look for ways to discredit the outside world. Like here, basically blaming her professor for not having an answer for her, which, you know, I'm on the same page. If you can solve a health problem or something naturally, that's a lot healthier than putting some chemicals in your body. But that's not my point here. It's that they really try hard to discredit the outside world, and basically they've been enlightened through Mother God, and everyone else on the outside is lost, stupid, and actively killing them. Like, I think one of Amy's quotes was that everyone on the outside who's not actively believing in her, putting faith in her, is slowly killing her. Another justification for why she was dying and not able to heal herself. You know, blaming it on the outside world. That kills two birds with one stone. It justifies her death, and it also casts a shadow on everyone else out there. So, it's another interesting detail I noticed. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm just making observations here.
And it's like, that is what they do, of like continuing to put us in a box. If they don't know about it, or
Yep.
if they're just lazy to do that, or they don't have answers for you, they're like, or they don't help you so that you just do something easier that they can help you with.
This is an attitude that they really try to perpetuate within this group, is blame other people. If there's something that other people can't help you with, it's their fault. They're actively against you. That's kind of a popular attitude these days. But, you know, we can't expect other people to solve problems that we come up with and put on them. I mean, we kind of got to take responsibility and try to solve them ourselves. I do agree that there needs to be more flexibility, more options within education, and more valuable life skills taught. But like I was just saying, they look for ways to discredit the outside world, to blame the outside world for the hurdles that they encountered while they were part of it.
And I saw that all the time in school. I'm like, you literally set us up to have like 3 jobs in the future. Like, what if I don't want to do that? And
the reason I bring all this up is because it is a tactic that was used to manipulate these people into, deeply buying into the teachings that Amy Carlson was touting.
I don't have a choice now. And that my counselor told me to be a ferry boat captain. Hey, that's actually good life advice. That actually would be a lot of fun. So maybe your professor wasn't wrong, or your counselor wasn't wrong. But that's the thing of just like how the system is just like, it's a box, and if you don't fit into box, and there's many boxes. There's many different boxes out there. I mean, it's the same of what they do to high schoolers. They put you in the college box every time. And it's been that way for many years. And that was, one of the millennial issues, is that our parents forced everybody to go to college. And it sucked ass. Yeah, dude.
I didn't get to go to college, but okay.
Yeah, it's just the continuous boxes, and mom, that's why mom has had to say she's always had to jump out of boxes, because she's had to jump out of all these belief systems. Those are the boxes, really, just different belief systems from society.
This is one of the tactics of manipulation, is weaving your ideologies in with irrefutable truths. A lot of the stuff they're saying here, I personally agree with, that, people are put in boxes. They're not given as much flexibility as you would hope. But to blame your professors for that is really short-sighted. It's not them. It's just the way things ended up. There's no one person to blame for that. It's just the way it is. But anyway, weaving these really real problems in with the ideologies of the person who's leading the group is one way to make them more valid, or appear more valid, and easier to really sell the ideas, because obviously these ideas have been very deeply ingrained in these people. Their leader has been dead for 2 months, and they're still following her strict regimen. I'm sure they're only allowed 4 hours of sleep a night, 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. They have to get up at 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. they start streaming. I feel really bad for these people, because they truly believe they're right. And what do I know? I'm not an expert in anything, but I really do feel like they've been manipulated almost to a point of no return. People like Dr. Phil and the cult expert on his show, they've offered help with no judgment to anyone who does want to get out of this. And I think that's important to keep in mind, is the real perpetrator is already gone. And she had her own laundry list of mental health issues where I pity her as well in some ways. I still think she was responsible for all this. And there's a lot of other things surrounding it, like child abuse, animal abuse, that was caught on video. It's just irrefutable. But it's just such a bad situation, because someone who was mentally ill and delusional was able to manipulate these people so much that they're still continuing on her customs and teachings.
Pretty much. Mom just always, wanted everyone to be free. Mm-hmm. Free of just all the expectations.
That's a really ironic thing. They say that Amy wanted them to be free, and yet they were only allowed to sleep 4 hours a night, 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. It said they weren't allowed to sit. Amy told them if they sat, it was draining her energy. It was taking power from Mother God. And so she said on Dr. Phil, all she ever did was tell people to embrace love, to be love. But then there's videos of her screaming derogatory things about people. There's a video of her putting a child in a dark closet during a live stream and leaving them in there because they were disrupting the live stream. There's a video of her shaking a cat and then holding it up by its scruff for a long time. And that's one thing I've noticed, is so many contradictory statements within this group. They'll say one thing, but then you'll find proof of another, which, people change over time. They've been posting these videos for a long time, but to say that you embody love, you are love, you're preaching love, you're trying to get love out in the world. I mean, the group is called Love Has Won. they're centered around love, and yet you see these videos of the cat being tortured or a child being locked in a closet, and they justify that action by saying, well, people used to beat their kids 50 years ago and it was fine. That's not true. It was never fine, and it was never all of society doing it. It was a subset of people, and we can't paint that whole generation with a broad brush and say everyone was beating their kids back then. Anyway.
And the control and the boxes, and I feel like that's really just the whole point of everything, is she's just like, you know, just be free of it all. Don't try to fight it or, you know, overanalyze it. Just be free of the boxes. And that's when
I agree with that.
You know, that's when all the
make your own
intuition
path.
And the insights and the inspiration can actually come through, is when you're just not held down by the belief systems or by the system.
That's the thing, is they're equating this freedom with this group of people, but anyone can do that. I do that. I don't live in anyone's predetermined box. I make my own path, and I think that's important for creative people, is to spend their life doing what they want to do. You don't have to be boxed in to the rules of society, and you don't need to be part of this group to not be boxed in by society.
And that's what Mom ultimately was fighting for, you know, because she's like, she knew, of course, that once she was going to leave, she wasn't going to leave us like to fail. But I feel her point to us now is like, I already did it. I already beat it. I already beat the system. I already beat the cabal. I beat the game. So just be free of it all. You know, we just don't have to like worry about how disclosure is going to come.
So I think they're saying by dying, she's beat the system because she's no longer part of this world.
Or what's happening with the 3D system. It's like, it's fascinating to watch.
Okay, so they call the outside world the 3D system, and then wherever they're going is 5D.
But who cares? You know, now it's just like, Mom's like, just be free. Like, just do your thing. Do whatever it is you feel guided to do. Like, have joy, like create something, like all of us have to figure out like what it is that we enjoy.
Those are all very good ideas.
Because we're so now out of
rhetoric.
The 3D. We don't get joy from the same things anymore. And we don't have Mom here where most of our joy was in, you know, in service to the mission in service to Mom. And that was our joy. And so now we're just in a new space where it's like, we don't really know, you know, what brings us joy or what we want to create in the world. We just have to figure it out. We just have to take it day by day. But, you know, Mom allowed us to be free. So, and for everybody's free of it all. It doesn't even exist. It's just still like running its course, but nobody has to live inside of the system or the boxes. Because Mom's paved so many different paths. The second you kind of take that leap out of the box, everything will start falling into place. Mom's just simply waiting for each soul, whoever's meant to wake up at whatever time, to kind of take the leap out of the box, and then it'll come.
This is part of the scary thing, is the way they're viewing her death as a transition to 5D. The way they talk about people taking the leap. It's scary to think that this might, I mean, look at Heaven's Gate. In a lot of these groups that decide to all move on to the next realm together, there were always strays that came along later, realized everyone they knew and loved was gone, and decided to join them by taking their own life. And that's the scary part, is now that their leader is gone here, I really worry for the families of these people that are still here, because if they decide they want to join Mother God, and move on to 5D with her, they could convince themselves to take their own lives. And that's really scary.
I'm guided to believe in the law. I'm just curious if I'm religious. Yeah, I mean, religion's just a belief system. So it's just, every religion ultimately has the same, similar, I won't say the same kind of goal. But they have too many rules that it doesn't make sense. So there really is no religion. It's just one truth.
Again, it just sounds hypocritical to me. They're saying other religions have too many rules, and yet we've learned about the weird rules this one has with the sleep schedule. There's a video of a guy being berated and chewed out by Amy, Mother God, for bringing her the wrong dinner. She asked for chicken parm, he brought her meatballs, and she just berates him. Then there's further videos of that same guy being berated by other members. Another man, I can't remember his name right now, but he was the current father god. He was berating that same member who brought her the meatballs, basically saying he was an idiot, making him call himself an idiot. And then there's another video of him waking that same person up at 5 a.m. He was sleeping. He was exhausted. He looked like he just looked so exhausted, which that'll happen if you're forced to only sleep 4 hours a night. But it's just so contradictory because they say, well, there's no rules in Love Has Won, and yet there's all these videos of people being forced to comply with whatever rules Amy put in place.
That everybody is connected to everybody. Mom is source. It's pretty simple. Other than that, clearly you don't want to do nothing needing assistance to live. You have to want to better yourself. Free comes from comfort. And I can't imagine you're comfortable struggling to eat and find a place. Well, Michelle, does it look like we're struggling to find a place or to eat? Next time on live stream, I'm going to just eat the whole time. I'm going to eat a burger on the next live stream just for you.
That's another thing is the responses to people seem so condescending because, again, they're indoctrinated to see the outside world as dumb. So anytime they have any criticism that gets under their skin, they react in a very condescending way because that's what Amy did. Maybe in the future I'll react to videos of Amy doing this similar thing. But again, I can't blame these people because that's what they were indoctrinated with.
Actually, I may have an array of donuts too for the next live stream just for you.
She just keeps going on about the food.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get some donuts tomorrow morning. Like, what? And it's also...
Why is she on her phone during a live stream? Like, she can't be bothered to pay attention the whole time? I don't know. Maybe she's looking at the chat or something. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
So, like, people don't realize, people always be like, free, and mom just scammed.
Sorry to keep pausing it, but that's another phrase they use all the time. People don't realize. Again, alienating the outside world, condescending to the outside world, and, you know, when you have to push other people down to elevate yourself, that's a red flag.
Everybody for fun, and it's like, okay, who in their right fucking mind as a con artist is going to con people out of money meanwhile sitting in bed all day? Okay, if I was a con artist
sitting in bed all day, like I mentioned earlier, one of the rules with this group was that people weren't supposed to sit, at least not very much, because it drained power from Amy, from Mother God. And yet her laying in bed all day, being very frail, ordering people around, like that video that showed her chewing out that guy for bringing her the wrong food, she was obviously using the power she had over these people to get them to basically be their live-in servants and take care of her, do whatever she wanted, and also provide the funding for her. They were giving her money. Like she just said, they're going to justify it here, so I won't spoil it. I'll just let it play.
Artist, let's just say, I would be so far in Mexico, you would never see me again. You would catch me in Cabo, catch me in Bali, peace out, bitches. No, mom was like in the boonies during the winter with like feet of snow around her.
So she's saying that if she was really a con artist, just trying to get people to give her money, she would have been in a much more beautiful place. But for the past year at least, she had been dying. And she was obviously feeling like trash. And who wants to go somewhere tropical when they feel like trash? And last year, I think in July or something, this whole group was in Hawaii. They were breaking the rules that surrounded the thing that we've all been dealing with since the beginning of 2020, being very secretive and clandestine. Like, they were going to tropical places. Just because she had a home base in Colorado instead of one of those places, they're using that fact to justify this whole situation, to convince us that there's no way Amy could be a con artist because she wasn't in a beautiful place. It's just not convincing enough. Like, Rosie loves tropical places. I don't love them as much because I get really hot. Not all people love going to tropical places all the time. I definitely wouldn't want to live in a place like that that's hot all the time.
Like, you guys are so ignorant, it hurts. And the amount of money,
ignorant,
which is pretty much gone at this point, as everybody knows, the money was Mom's endless 24/7 service to humanity, constantly doing etheric surgeries on the team.
And you just know all this stuff she's saying is just rhetoric that was perpetuated by Amy when she was alive, justifying all the money she's getting by saying, well, she needs to make something off of doing all these surgeries, spiritual surgeries. It's just so sad how ingrained these ideologies were into these people that 2 months after she passed, they can still be able to justify any little thing that comes up. But every justification they come up with, they've created a straw man argument and then destroyed it with something that's not really that important or significant.
On everybody connected to us, all of humanity, the microchips, all of the inner etheric work that we cannot see because we cannot see beyond a small amount of energy in the physical experience. So that's just the basis of the foundation of Mom's platform. Live streaming 2 to maybe 3 times a day, master classes, sessions, and the team doing the sessions because Mom could not. Making products and working 3D jobs that years ago. And it was like that whatever we had was created and manifested by you guys, of course, in your never-ending support and love of Mom and the products, the business, the sessions, everything. And people that don't see it and just think it's a scam and whatever, keep thinking what you want to think. But I'm telling you that if you were here months ago when we had a business, 3 live streams, a Telegram page, sessions, and only 5 people living in a house, people would lose their shit. People would lose their shit. Mm-hmm. Because you are taught to live in one box, work one job, and when you have to be
I work 3 jobs, so
dimensional and do all these things, people don't realize the amount of work, effort. I mean, the real ones know. The trolls can just hop off. It's like, what do you think we're doing all day? Just
This is really sad, but someone said right here, Heaven's Gate the sequel coming to a theater near you. We want to avoid that at all costs. We don't want these people to take their lives. And I really hope, like, I don't care what they're doing with their time. If they want to keep doing this forever, that's their prerogative. That's their right. But there's some serious potential there for people to justify in their minds that taking their life might be a good option. And it's scary.
Just sitting around picking our noses. Who can we scam today? Oh, I'm going to hit Nancy up. I think I'm going to scam this after Nancy's been here for a year. Like, do you really think that if it was a scam, we would have people still supporting if we were giving them products and they were buying it for the last year to maybe 2 years and it wasn't working? Yet we have repeat business all the time and people saying how amazing the products are from Mom.
I'm at the point now where I feel like we're just going to let everything speak for itself. And there's going to be a moment really fucking soon that everybody who came on and judged us, and by us I mean Mom specifically and the team, judged us, attacked us, just slandered us, there's going to be a moment really soon where you need help. Because the disclosure is going to come out. And the only people on the planet who know the full whole truth and have the disclosure and also have the path and the tools and the wisdom and the knowledge from God on how you can ascend is us right here. So you're going to end up right back on this live stream begging for us to help you because there's nowhere else to go. So I will happily hold my tongue until then because we don't have to prove anything to you. It'll happen. We'll sit back, we'll let it speak for ourselves, and we'll keep going. But there will be a day that all of you will come right back to this live stream and you will be asking for help and guidance. And then we will be here patiently waiting. So don't get it twisted because you guys think you know it all, blah, blah. When the disclosure comes out, the real disclosure, the entire planet will be looking to the beings who spent years with God. And you guys, unfortunately, the trolls, will be last in line. You'll be the last person we're interested in helping.
Mm-hmm.
So,
we love you.
We love you.
We love you guys.
Thanks for...
This is... I mean, like I said, they can do whatever they want with their lives. It's so weird they say, we love you. This is all based in love. But if you're making fun of us now and you come begging for help later, you're the last people we're going to want to help. Being in the public space, creating something like a podcast or YouTube videos, I get a lot of comments that are, antagonistic. If I let them, they could get under my skin. But I make a very conscious effort to interpret good intentions in every comment, no matter how mean they might come across. I try to read it in a way that, these people are just trying to help. They're offering constructive criticism, and I look for the good in it, and then I try to respond with respect. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I don't do this every time I respond to comments, but I really try to. What I've noticed watching this group is that even though they constantly preach love, that they're the embodiment of love, they respond to antagonistic comments with an angsty snarkiness that just, if they were really confident in what they're saying, they shouldn't feel any defensiveness, They should just be able to be like, okay, whatever. But they always kind of snap back with some kind of condescension or a sting. And that's the way Amy was. If you watch her videos from the past, when people doubted her, she had full-on outbursts where she was screaming and cussing and berating people. She would have these outbursts, and then she'd justify all that by saying, I get body shakes when outside forces communicate with me. And that's the kind of manipulation she would use to justify her outbursts of anger when people were critical of her. In the future, I'll watch videos of Amy herself and break it down, but this video really stuck out to me this morning, and I wanted to do a reaction to it because you're looking at the victims of this group of people right here. They don't know they're victims, and I don't blame them for that. I pity them, and I don't care if they keep doing this. I just don't want them to follow Amy's lead and, decide to move on to 5D by taking their own lives. That said, all these people have the right to believe whatever they want to believe. I have respect for all of them. I don't think they're stupid for believing in Amy. I don't think anyone should be going here and insulting them. Two wrongs don't make it right. There's people insulting them, and then they're lashing back. If you don't let those things get under your skin, it can't turn into a battle, If you respond to any kind of antagonistic thing, interpreting a positive intent and then de-escalating by responding with respect and kindness, then usually things don't escalate to a point where it's us versus them. And that's the scary thing I see constantly in this, is that it's always us versus them. It's the outside world, 3D, whatever they want to call it, is wrong. You need to escape 3D. Anyway, I think I've ranted enough about this. I'm almost at an hour of recording time, which is about way too long. I'm sure it'll only be like 20 minutes when I'm done editing. But thank you for watching this. Again, if you do enjoy this reaction style video, press that like button if you'd like to see more of these, and comment below letting me know. If you're a regular listener of the podcast, thank you so much. Also, if you're a patron, thank you so much. We appreciate all of you a lot. I'll put links below to where you can listen to the podcast, where you can support us, all that. And that's where I'll wrap it up. Hopefully next time, Rosie will be with me on this. So let me know if that's something you would like to see, because Rosie's got a different perspective than me, and I love that when we can bounce off of each other and have a conversation about something, because I have my blind spots. Everyone has their blind spots. So it's fun to be able to communicate, you know? So, all right. Well, thank you. And I'll talk to you next time.